I think that the worst symptoms vary depending on what is going on in the person's life at the time. Initially, probably the worst symptom is the headache, because it can be pretty severe. Sometimes people get a lot of nausea and dizziness, and that can be really debilitating. But as the concussion progresses and they start to feel better, other symptoms come up that are probably even more aggravating to them. Symptoms like memory loss. So they're in school and they can't remember what they just studied, or the ability to focus. That can be pretty debilitating too, and pretty frustrating when you're trying to focus and you just can't do that. So the worst symptom ever, I think, depends on where you are in your recovery from the concussion.
Have you ever had a concussion?
Yes, I had a mild concussion.
Which sport do you think has the most concussions?
Probably football still has the most, but it's very closely followed with soccer. Rugby is right up there with those guys too. But any contact sport, and even any sport where you're putting yourself out there at a speed or in a height that can result in a fall, can cause concussion.
I don't think I've ever had a concussion. Back when I was growing up, we didn't really know a lot about head injuries and concussions. There were some times I'm sure that I was a little bit dizzy, but we didn't really have concussions.
Sport?
Football. Football by far. Boys and girls soccer are number 2 and 3. Hockey is up there as well. You can get a concussion walking down the street, but unfortunately football is the number 1 sport. I'd say on average at Mid-Pacific alone, we're talking about 2, 3, maybe 4 dozen. So there are quite a few concussions throughout the year. Well, I've seen players unfortunately get knocked out where they're lying cold on the field. Once they've been diagnosed with a concussion, I've seen kids miss school for a month or 2. I've seen kids not be able to do schoolwork. I've seen a kid actually have to take a year off of school just because they were so far behind. So it's some pretty dangerous stuff.